My GF, 25F of 4 years, told me 25M that she cheated on me. I thought I was okay. Here's a little background information about the two of us. The two of us had become great friends throughout high school, and we could rely on each other to let off steam and just dump all of our problems on one another during our final year. Both of us attended separate universities, but I eventually transferred to hers, which is when we started dating. We've been living together for 3 years and have a great relationship with each other. We go on dates on a regular basis, take holidays together, and rely on one another for support in the face of a variety of challenges. She's been expressing an interest in getting married for a year or two, but I've advised her to hold off until she finishes from graduate school the following year. I dropped out of college and now have a stable job that enables me to provide for my wife and myself financially as a family. She sometimes helps with food preparation and grocery shopping, but she is more concerned with saving money in case we use it in an emergency. My job necessitates a large investment of time. I have a job that requires me to be available on call at all hours of the day, and I may be away from home for many days at a time, but we always text or contact each other while we are apart. When I'm not around, she'll go out with her friends and have a few drinks, which is okay with me since I completely trusted her. Because she's never shown any signs of being unfaithful, and because she used to have a friend who cheated on one of her prior boyfriends, she avoided him. She despises cheaters in movies and on television, and she is no exception. So, when I arrived at work at 11 p.m. on Friday, she was just getting ready to leave for a night out with her friends. Afterward, we kissed each other and whispered our I love yous before continuing on our way. I had a shaky feeling throughout the night, so at 3 a.m., I texted her to tell her how much I loved her and to wish her a nice evening. Obviously, there was no response, but it is not uncommon in this situation. She usually texts first thing in the morning when she gets up. I left work around 11 a.m. and returned home at about 12 p.m. She pulled up right behind me as I was pulling into the parking lot. When she emerged from the house, she was dressed in the same clothes she had worn the night before and appeared to be in a state of disarray. As we walked inside the house, she gave me a cautious kiss on the cheek. Immediately upon closing the door, she fell into and clutched onto my legs for dear life. They had met a guy at the tavern who started buying them shots, according to her description. He was massaging her shoulders, and she claims he was paying special attention to her throughout the encounter. As soon as he noticed her text, he grabbed her phone and told her to ignore it and go have fun. This did not bother me in the least, but I chose to keep mute and let her to tell her story. She said that she kissed him and that he drove her car back to his residence, where they had together. After what seemed like 10 minutes of stillness, I started putting my work bags away and getting ready to take a shower in the bathroom. I was emotionally numb at the moment, and I had absolutely no sentiments for her. In my mind, I was worried because my body had gone into autopilot mode and was merely going through the motions of my normal everyday routine. She followed me around like a puppy dog, trying to figure out whether I was going to say anything. I didn't say anything. It took her by surprise when I inquired as to whether or not she enjoyed it. She questioned whether I actually cared about what had happened. I told her of my decision. What does it make a difference to me whether you do this or that? Because you're a single woman. You may do anything you want. When she started sobbing and wailing excessively, I didn't seem to notice. I'd reached the end of my rope. I informed her that I was going to take a shower and that she would be required to leave when I was through. It was her effort to prevent me from using the toilet and her insistence that I talk with her that I rejected. When I got outside, she was nowhere to be seen. I didn't hear from her on Saturday, but I did hear from her mother, who expressed her regret and offered her condolences. She had told her mother of the events that had occurred, and she had seemed to have hung up on her own daughter during the conversation. She attempted to contact me by phone more than 20 times on Saturday, but I was still inaccessible emotionally. And yet, despite the fact that I thought I'd completed this strongly and completely over her, here I am, thinking solely about her. I've been missing her and wishing for her. When I couldn't stand the sound of her voice anymore, I called her, and we both wept on the phone. I really want to take her back, but I know I shouldn't. It's just now that it's starting to gnaw me up on the inside, and it's putting me out. Who knows what happened to the confident guy I used to be? But I'm a complete mess right now. What precisely am I supposed to be doing in this place? Have you attempted to communicate with her? Is it possible for you to attempt to rekindle this flame? I've always maintained that I'd never forgive a cheater, and she's always expressed her disdain for cheaters as well. I despise her every time I think about her, yet every time I think about her, I have a longing for her. Right now, I'm simply baffled as to what to do. Update. Hello everyone. This has gone a lot farther than I had anticipated. It's been a long work night for me, and when I wake up in the morning, I'll go over all of your responses. I also have 224 SMS messages to read. She, her friends, her mother, my brother, and one of my closest friends have been trying to reach me all night, certain I've done something wrong. I have 224 SMS messages to read. Everyone is aware of my unpredictable work schedule, so I'm not sure what they were thinking, but I'll try to keep you all informed as soon as I've gotten everything back on track. Thank you so much to everyone for their comments and words of support. Story 2. My M24 long-term girlfriend, F22, cheated on me, got pregnant, but everyone around me keep pressuring me to stay with her. So we grew up in a tiny hamlet together, knew each other our whole lives, fell in love when she was 17 years old, and moved to the city together little over 2 years ago. I work as a carpenter, and she is still a student at a community college. She made the shocking announcement that she is 3 weeks pregnant only a few weeks ago. The fact that I always use protection and never have when under the influence of alcohol or drugs, I do not drink or smoke, makes me certain that it is not mine. In response, I applied pressure on her, and she confessed to having slept with an exchange student while on a school holiday trip. Despite the fact that she says he has been hitting on her for weeks, the encounter was unexpected, which is why he didn't have a condom and she didn't have pills. It was a one-time occurrence, and she has no emotions for the guy anymore. I was taken aback at first, but after thinking about it for a day, I realized that I couldn't remain in this relationship any longer. For starters, I'm not prepared to be a mom to a child who is not my own child. Second, I'm not sure I can forgive her for betraying me at this point, at least not in this moment of crisis. So I chopped it off, asked my boss if I could remain at the warehouse's worker quarters, which are only for temporary employees, and let my girlfriend to stay at our apartment until she could find a place of her own to live, till she could I pay full rent, because only I work. After some time had passed, our families and shared friends learned the truth, and they are now all encouraging me to return to my girlfriend except for my sister who supports me. They believe it is wrong for me to abandon her at this time, notably my father, with whom I had a conflict every 2 days as a consequence of my decision to abandon her. It was him who informed me that he knew she was a wonderful girl, and that it was merely a young person's mistake, and that I should stay with her and put the child for adoption. And my friends are constantly messaging me, pleading with me to take her back. As a result, one of them believes I'm to blame, claiming that I was the reason she moved to the city in the first place. As a result, I'm devastated, alone, and shattered. Like the rest of the world, couldn't give about what I'm going through right now. I just want to migrate to a new location and begin over, but I lack the courage to do so for a variety of reasons. It is possible that some of your recommendations may help to assuage my concerns. A small updated version. I was not expecting such a large number of responses to my story, so thank you for your consideration and advice. I made an effort to read as many comments as I possibly could. I thought I was going to be able to go through this on my own, but you all reminded me that I'm not alone, so I called my younger sister, who will be taking the train to the city first thing in the morning tomorrow to spend the weekend with me. I also spoke with both my and her parents, who agreed to meet with us this weekend to discuss the problem in more detail. My expectations for the outcome are high, and I hope to offer an update in the following days.